it's odd because people think when you think of continuity, you think that, I'm just the guy who watches water glasses on the set, or to make sure that people pick up things with the same hand at the same time. That is maybe about 20% of my job. That's an important part of my job, which is making sure that every time we do another take or change the camera angle, that the shots are going to match, that people are doing the same thing at the same time, and everything is, all the props are all in the same places again. But the most important thing that I do is keep records. I keep records of everything that happens on the set. When I first get a job, I get sent the script, and I sit down with the script, and the first thing I do is, I read the script, start to finish. But I take out my ruler and my pencil while I'm doing the first reading, and I divide. This is my own messy copy of the script. I immediately divide the script into scenes. That's the first thing I do. I take my ruler and I divide it, chop it all up into scenes. And then when I go back a second time and I read the script, then I take a whole bunch of colored markers, highlighters, and every scene, I look at every scene individually, and then I highlight first in like pink, for example, I highlight every character the first time they appear in every scene. And then I highlight, see, here's green, here's a sound cue. I highlight, in blue, I highlight props. In yellow, I highlight actor actions and emotions. I highlight in orange wardrobe cues that are, like here's little, it says she's wearing a hat, so I highlight that to know that she's wearing a hat. Purple, there's visual effects. Blue is props. See, here's a lot of props. And so then I know what every scene important things that I should be looking for in every scene. That if it's a breakfast scene and they're making breakfast, then there needs to be breakfast things on the set that they're making. If it says that she puts on her hat, I have to make sure she has her hat. And then after I do that pass, going through, then I start to break the script down. This is all part of the breakdown. I break the script down into story days. I fill out this form for every slate. So if it was 3 alpha, 3A, I would write down the shooting day, the date, the location. I keep track of what camera roll this is on. I keep track of all the camera information for every shot. I know what lens, what filters, the T-stop or f-stop, the focus. I know the sound roll. I know I have to note if it's sync sound, if it's MOS, or which is without sound, it's silent, or if it's a wild track where it's the opposite, it's just sound and no picture. I write a description of the scene. It's a medium shot of Janet, or dolly in to Joe. I describe the camera moves and the shot. Here, sometimes I will draw a little picture of the frame to know what's in frame, what's not in frame. Or conversely, I will take my camera and actually snap photos of the monitor so that I can have a reference later to know what was in the frame, where the eye lines are. I will mark eye lines. And then for every take, stopwatch, I time every take. And I time from not when the director yells action and cut. I time from what I think are the editor's cutting points. So the director says action, and sometimes there's often a pause before something happens, and I will click on when the scene actually starts, and I will click stop timing when the scene actually ends, not when the director finally calls cut. And so I will write down each take, the time of the take. I will make a note on every shot with the director's thoughts. If there's any goofs, if there's boom in the shot, I will make a note of every single shot. And then at the same time as I'm doing all of that, I'm watching the action, I'm taking pictures, I'm filling out this form, I'm also what they call lining the script. I'm taking my pencil and I'm drawing it through the dialogue and through the action to see what is being covered in that particular shot on that particular camera. And if I do a straight line through it, that means you can actually see, in the case of a character speaking, you can actually see that character's lips moving as those words are being said. If you can't see the person's lips moving, like if it's an over the shoulder and they're facing the other way, or their back is to the camera, or they're off screen where their lines are being heard, then the line goes wiggly through the script. And then so I'm constantly going straight and wiggly, straight and wiggly, straight and wiggly. And then I note at the top of every line, what slate number and which camera it is. So this particular line right here is for slate 39 alpha camera A, and here's for camera B, because we were running two cameras at the same time. So I've got straight, wiggly, straight, wiggly, straight, wiggly. I'm doing all of this simultaneously while watching this scene and making sure that the actors are saying their lines the same way every time and doing the same actions every time. It's kind of an impossible job to be 100% perfect, because the script supervisor is doing about 6 different things simultaneously. And thank God we are, because if we weren't, none of this information would be taken down. Why is it a department of 1 if it's so complicated? That's a very, very good question, because logically, there should be at least 3 people doing all of this. But there's not. There's 1. There is the script supervisor. This is the same no matter what the budget, what the size. There is 1 script supervisor.